Unapologetic. It means not apologizing for your greatness. Here, we unpack the inner workings of our greatest creatives. From authors, musicians, filmmakers, painters. We even talk a little sports. And sometimes there's poetry in motion on that ball court and that football field. We speak about the lifestyle, the culture, and the overall way of life that is known as hip-hop. We even touch on some current events and situations that affect the culture as well. All in all, this is Unapologetic, and I'm your host, Elijah Foreman. Let's get it started. Yes, this is Elijah Foreman, and this is the Unapologetic podcast. I hope everybody's out there doing well, staying safe. And last week, we touched on the 10 elements of being unapologetic. We did the first 5. And I'm getting a lot of feedback from that episode. I appreciate people who actually listened and really took in what I was saying and applied it to their own journey. So hopefully it could help some folks out. This week, we're going to do the second half, the last 5. And to me, these are the 5 powerful ones to me. These are the ones that a lot of people, if you don't have it in your head already to follow, you should really follow these last 5 because they're very instrumental to people who have some success, even in entertainment or whether it's business, doesn't really matter. So let's get started. Number 6 is a big one. It says, how a person feels about you is not your business. I'm going to say that again. How a person feels about you is not your business, especially if that person is not a factor in your progress professionally. There are plenty of times where people want to step into a new business venture or something creative, artistic, and they have people who start out being on their side as support systems. And along the way, throughout the journey, somehow, some way, you grow apart from people. It's natural. It happens with almost anyone who's in any type of business. The problem is those people that you grow away from, some of them, without even knowing it themselves, become the hater. They become the person who don't want to see you do as well because they're not a part of the journey of the success. They were in the beginning, but because they weren't getting the labor, the fruits of the labor that you have, now they become a hater. Now they become upset. And those are the people with social media being such a great tool. It also is a dark tool at times because it's a tool for the haters to jump on and say whatever they want to say about you, whether it be good or bad. So my thing about folks like that is what you have to say about me is not my business. I'm not going to sit here and give you all the energy that you want just so you can feel like you won in anything. In any type of disagreement or argument, I really can't give you that energy anymore. If this was like the 20-year-old me, probably because I was very young at the time and a little immature. But I'm approaching 30, ladies and gentlemen. So my mindset is totally different these days. And, it's not my business what a person thinks about me because 9 times out of 10, you're really upset because you couldn't do what I did. And not so much that you couldn't do it, you just didn't do the work. That's really what it comes down to. You didn't do the work. So now you're upset. Okay, so now we're going to go to number 7. Number 7 is a very important one as well for the younger generation. Stand up for what you believe in at all times. This is a very important one and a tough one to follow sometimes. This ties into, being comfortable with standing out, which is one that we did last week. When you believe in what you're doing creatively, it is not possible for anybody to sway that. You have to believe in what you're doing first before anybody else. There are plenty of creatives out here, whether you're musicians, filmmakers, any type of artist. There are plenty of people who have had an idea on paper, and the minute they start to pursue it, they make a mistake in telling certain people what they're doing. And those people who don't see your vision, at least not yet, they try to, deter you from what you're doing. They try to discourage you from what you're doing. And that becomes a problem. So at all times, when you're in this creative field that we're all in, you have to believe in what you're doing at all times first. Not everybody's going to believe in it. I have family who didn't believe in almost anything I did creatively throughout the years. But when they start to see the success and the people that I'm meeting and the conversations that I'm in now and the different rooms that I'm in now with people who are successful and are trying to help me get there, now they start to see like, whoa, like this dude, he was telling me this 6-7 years ago. And I just thought he was young and crazy. And now here he is really bringing his dream and vision to life. So it's very possible. That's one that I want for the young people who may be listening to me. You have to believe in what you're doing. Nobody else is going to believe in it until you believe it first. Very important. The next one kind of ties into believing in yourself. You must live in a dream killer free zone. Let me say that one more time. You have to live in a dream killer free zone. And it kind of ties into a couple of the other elements I said last week. We all have been kids in school, elementary school, junior high school, and the teacher asks you, what do you want to be when you grow up? A lot of kids have these very big dreams. Most of us, believe it or not, don't have a dream of being in entertainment when we're young. A lot of kids want to be firefighters because they saw this TV show on TV, guy running in a burning building, taking the fire out. Believe it or not, a lot of kids still want to be cops, even though there's a lot of controversy between, black folks and the police. There are plenty of kids who want to be cops when they're kids. Hopefully they change something. This is their mindset. Problem with this is when you're somebody living in a dream killer zone, the minute that you tell your dream to somebody that you're close to that doesn't see it, they didn't see any firefighters in their family. They didn't see any cops in their family, doctors, lawyers. They kind of, without noticing that they're even doing it, they throw the kid's dream to the side as if it's not possible. I hear you, but, try to be something else, try to get a plumbing certification or, try to be a truck driver. That seems to be a little bit more possible. It's a lot of school to do what you want to do. You want to be a lawyer? That's like 7 years of school. You want to be a doctor? Man, you got to go up and get your PhD. You know how many years of school that is? People don't even realize just by saying that little bit right there, those 10 seconds, you just officially killed everything in a kid. Because now all of those negative thoughts you just had, you just put it on the kid. Maybe the kid didn't care that he had to go to school for 10 years. He made it to college. You never know what that kid might want to do. Same thing creatively. There are a lot of kids who, I know plenty of rappers, ladies and gentlemen. I know plenty of people who have gone into rap music and wanted to make a success out of it. But of those plenty, there are some great ones. There are some ones who really have the skill to push through. Problem is, when you live in a city like Trenton, New Jersey, there are not a lot of outlets. We have to travel to Philly. We'll have to travel to New York, different places like that where there are radio stations that can take our music and play it. So when you have those type of, disadvantages coming from a city like Trenton, you have to really believe in yourself. That's why I said the last element ties into this one. You have to believe in yourself and believe in the journey, because there's going to be a lot of people sitting on the porch with you when they listen to your song on SoundCloud. They say, yeah, man, it's cool. It's a dope song. But yeah, man, I don't see anybody who's going to play that out here. We don't have any radio stations. So what? Why can't four of you pile into a car and drive across the bridge to Philly? There's one of the most popular radio stations for hip hop music is in Philly right now, Power 99. I guarantee you that's about a 45-minute ride from Trenton, New Jersey. But instead of taking that ride and trying to speak to somebody who can get your music where you want it to go, you're going to listen to the dude sitting next to you who's not doing nothing either and allow him to kill your dream. This is how dreams get killed. It happens very fast. And you never know who these kids could become. I hate to say that this kid is the next anybody, but you never know. Trenton can have the next, Jay-Z, the next DMX, anybody. But the problem is a lot of these kids don't believe because they have people around them who kill the dream before it even gets started. So that is a very important one. You have to live in a dream killer free zone. Let's get to the next one. Number 9. This one is very important. When you're dealing with creatives, a lot of us plan things ahead of time. I like to call it, my yearly journal. So when you do things like that, you have to be careful about who you tell your plans to. So number 9 is you have to move in silence until it's time to present your product. I'm gonna say that again. You have to move in silence until it's time to present your product. Not everybody needs to know what you have planned until it's completed. I'm going to use books for an example. I know a lot of authors who have had top 5-star best-selling books written, but before they get a chance to publish it, somebody that they confided in that's also in the business with them has stolen their work or has taken a piece of this book, put their own little spin on it, and now it becomes theirs. And before you even get a chance to prove that, hey, I wrote this first, their book is out now. You have to be careful with this. Sometimes it's best to move in silence. I know a lot of musicians that record a whole album and not let one person hear a song on it until it's like maybe the week before the album comes out or maybe even a couple of days. Because as artists, we're very sensitive about our work to begin with. So when it comes down to it, we want to know what people think when it's time to get those opinions. We don't want to still be in the creative process and have people give you their opinion that don't have anything to do with that creative process. This is why musicians have their producer, they have their engineer, they may have a couple people on their team in the room with them, and they go. They're not going to have family members and fans and different things of that nature come in the room and start listening to stuff and giving their opinion while you're still in the creative process mentally. It can mess with you a little bit unless you're seasoned and you know how to handle things while you're in the midst of it. But when you're very new and you have people who are not involved in your creative process, it can mess you up creatively and it can cause you to, kind of fall off kilter a little bit. So you have to be careful with that. You have to move in silence until it's time to present your product. That's a serious one. And just that fast, ladies and gentlemen, we're down to the last one. We're down to number 10. And number 10 ties in with number 7. It ties in with number 8. And it also ties in with number 5, which is one we did last week, which was get the dead weight away from your circle. Number 10 is believe in yourself and keep the ones that believe in you around you. So last week I touched on the people you need to get away from. You need to get out of your circle because they may cause some type of confusion or they may just bring a dark cloud with them that messes up your creativity. Well, this week, I'm going to talk about the ones you need to have around you. When it comes to creativity, when it comes to film, music, books, podcasting, you have to have the ones who support you, whether it's day one to now, or even some new supporters. We get new supporters all the time along the way throughout the journey. You have to keep those type of people around you. It is very important. You don't want the ones who smile in your face and say, hey, great show. But then when you turn around and go home, they're talking bad about you. You don't want those kind of people. You want the kind of people who are in the trenches with you day in and day out. These may be people that listen to your ideas before you record them. If you're into podcasting or music, these may be people who just sit in the room with you and just let you create. You may have a vision board in your office and these people just sit back and just let you jot stuff down on your vision board and just go creatively and mentally. And then if they have any insight, they'll step in and say, hey, maybe, you might want to change that. Instead of doing that, do this. These are the people you need to have around you. And sometimes the people who are just there to listen are the most instrumental people to have. if you're a musician, if you're a filmmaker, the people who are in the room and are just there because they believe in what you're doing are the ones you need around you. On top of that, this goes back to dead weight. You need people who are instrumental in moving your product forward. You don't want to create people who are yes men. You want to create people who have jobs in your circle. Big example of this, I keep saying LeBron James, right? He's one of my favorite players. LeBron James had a group of friends in high school that he played ball with. They all knew, I'm a decent basketball player, but I'm probably not going to go as far as Bron. So what they did was they supported LeBron. LeBron was the moneymaker at the time. Sports Illustrated called him the chosen one, and he was. But this is a cool thing LeBron did. When LeBron got into the league and he got his contract from Nike, got all that money, he started putting his friends through school to where now his personal chef is a guy that he's known for over 20 years. One of his trainers is a guy he's known since high school. His agent is a guy he's known since he played AAU basketball in junior high school. You can't get nothing better than that, because these are guys who not only do they know you on a personal level, they know your family, your kids, your mother, your wife, but they also know you creatively because they've been in the room with you. They've seen you when you had your dark days, your bad days, where it wasn't really flowing or clicking for you. And they saw you on those great days where everything was working out and everything was clicking on all cylinders. Those are the people you need in the room with you. I'll give you a perfect example. My girlfriend right now, she is a master chef. Baking is her thing. She could bake you a cake in an hour, couple of hours, and it'll taste like you just got it out of the Cheesecake Factory. Problem with my girlfriend is, coming up, she has certain friends, certain people around her who didn't really agree with her vision or her dream. They didn't think it was possible. So she grew up loving to cook, but not thinking that it was actually something she can pursue as a business or a job or a career. When she came around me, I changed all of that. Listen, if this is what you really want to do, you need to start doing some research on some schools. Let's start putting some applications in. Doesn't matter if you're not fresh out of high school. There are plenty of people who go to these culinary schools that are in their 30s already, but they need that certification in order to go to these different spots to cook, to be the head chef. If this is what you want to do, I'm going to back you on it, but I need you to do the work too. I can't be who I am and doing all this creative stuff that I do, but I'm allowing the lady that's standing next to me to just bury her dreams because people have been burying her dreams for years. Then I would be doing her a disservice. I don't need to be around her. That's a perfect example, ladies and gentlemen. You have to keep people that are supporting you 100% around you. And once you have those people who really support you 100%, you won't even notice how lighter your days get, how much weight gets taken off your shoulder. Because sometimes a lot of us are just in our head. We spend so much time in our head going over different scenarios and different things that can go wrong. We don't even notice that if we just focus and we just, keep the blinders on for those who are in the horse racing, and we just tunnel vision, we go right through those issues and we get to where we want to go. So at the end of the day, I'm going to say number 10 again before we get out of here. You have to believe in yourself and keep the ones that believe in you around you. This is essential. This is very essential. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Those were the 10 elements of being unapologetic. And that's my time. I am Elijah Foreman. This has been Unapologetic with yours truly, Elijah Foreman. I appreciate y'all sitting down with me while I give my 10 elements. All these elements help me in my career, y'all. So I hope that these elements help you with anything it is that you plan to do. Doesn't have to be in entertainment. It could be in everyday life. I don't care if you are that plumber or if you are that truck driver. They make money too. So at the end of the day, a lot of these elements you're going to need even with those jobs. Don't matter what you're doing out here. As long as you get into the money, you get into the bag, and you taking care of the people who take care of you, that's all that matters. Until next time, y'all take care of each other, take care of yourself, and be safe, be healthy. I'll see y'all next time. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode down, plenty more to come. I appreciate you for taking the time out to come hang out with me. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Take care.